Singles, vet relationship prospects immediately, as soon as possible. As soon as you meet them and they take an interest in you, male or female, we're talking to singles, male or female, vet them immediately. We're going to talk about how to do that. But before we talk about it,
we're Terrence and Jill of God-Ordained Union, and we're here to do one thing and one thing only, and that is to help increase God-Ordained Union.
Yes, yes, yes. This channel is for singles.
Mm-hmm.
And we're pro-marriage. We're all for marriage. We say it all the time. It's not a political thing. It's not a religious thing. It's not a church thing. We believe the word of God when he says two together are better than one. He created us for partnership. And so we're pro-marriage. The thing is that we have not always been, we're not a couple that have been married for a long time. We are just 4 years in. I was 48 when I came across Terrence on a dating platform. 50, almost 50, when we started officially talking. 51 when Terrence proposed marriage to me. And 52 when I got married. And when we got married.
54 when I watched her walk down the aisle.
Yes, yes. I had never been married before. I had never had a proposal. I never had biological children. I wanted them. Life has seemed to pass me by. I was wondering what was wrong with me, why had marriage happened for me. And what I noticed was a few blocks that were happening. It was about 45 years old when I started to realize there's some generational patterns and there's some things I have been holding on, unforgiveness, my lifestyle, all these things that were blocking me from my person seeing me. And so when I realized that block, I start pressing in, and the Lord start healing me and delivering me. And so this channel, what we do on this channel, we not just encourage singles who, you feel like something is wrong with you and why haven't God answered your prayers and why is it taking so long? We also help you see some of the things that could be blocking you. And so make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you turn on your notifications. Make sure you can comment. Please share our videos. Yes. If you want to reach out to us.
Please share.
Yes, you can. To learn more about when we drop pre-recorded videos like this one, when we go live, when we do our one-on-ones, when we do private group. We also have an ebook for the ladies. Ladies, if you want to know how to get back out there and, quote unquote date. And also there's some things that you want to get unblocked from. We encourage you to get the ebook. Also, we have a prayer call that we participate in, and we invite you to join us. It's absolutely free. It happens every Friday at
11:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, so we go into midnight prayer. And so to find out all that stuff we're doing, you can go down to the description. Also, we have partnered with eHarmony. So if you are interested in online dating, we love eHarmony. That's not where I met Terrence. That's not what his profile is, but I had been on eHarmony before I met Terrence. And so we love eHarmony. We love the assessment that it does. It really helps you see a lot about and learn more about who you are as a person from the questions that they ask. And so if you want to search your matches for free, you can do so. The link is also below. Also follow us on TikTok and Instagram. So if you want to know a little bit more about us personally,
yes, our
day to day, and what we do when we're not recording videos like this for you all, please follow us on TikTok and Instagram under a God-Ordained Union, Terrence and Jill. Okay.
Yeah, so there are too many stories out there, both men and women, that are being scammed, being catfished, being misled, being taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I hate to say it, but it's just true. There are people out there that prey on other folks.
Yes.
But here's what we want you to understand. There's a time when you have to start being intentional. And we're using this word tonight, being intentional about getting to know somebody.
Yes.
About learning who it is that you say you want to get to know and who you allow to get to know you.
Right.
So today, we're going to be talking about this because we were just sharing earlier with just amongst ourselves. And look, especially, I know this happens, like I said, with men and women, but especially with men, because see, we don't talk. We don't talk. And I know personally of some guys that have gone through this. And because men don't talk, they don't even have anybody that can say, hey, man, I know what you're going through. That ain't where you want to be. Right. Let me pull you back in. Let me reel you back in before you get over your head or before you get to that point of no return. We don't have that because we don't talk. Right. So we go through this, and as long as that person or people or whomever it is trying to take advantage of us or have energy into just taking us down this dark rabbit hole, it's going to continue to happen because nobody knows we're going through it. Right. You just can't look at people and tell that somebody's taking advantage of them in that type of way. Right. So we're going to talk candid. Yeah. We're going to talk candid about it tonight. Mm-hmm. So get your notepad out, get your pen out, and take some great notes because it's time to be intentional.
Yes, yes. And so I'm glad you said that because we talked about the word intentional a couple of weeks ago. And a lot of people are so intentional about getting married. No, you got to be intentional about getting to know a person. And so the difference in this video tonight, it is more about the warnings.
Yes.
Because this is not one of those just like, you meet somebody and get to know them. No, we're talking about people who are out to set you up, to scam you. We're hearing too many stories about women who are meeting these men. They're getting close to marriage and finding out that these men have wives or other fiancés, finding out all kind of stuff. And I mean, there's a lot of, there's a lot of men that are being scammed by women. They are being scammed and there's a whole operation behind it. It is so common. There was a young lady that's on social media talking about how she was scrolling through social media and she found out, she said, y'all, I just found out that my boyfriend of 2 years got married yesterday. She said he got married yesterday. And it's so many of these situations. Why are you missing it?
How are you even getting?
How are you missing
depth of a relationship and not know that somebody has another life somewhere?
Yes, yes. So this is why before we talk about how to do your investigation. Because again, this is not one of those situations where you're just getting to know somebody and, he could just be a counterfeit. And because a counterfeit, when we use the word counterfeit, we talk about Ishmael and Isaac, how the Lord had told Sarah and Abraham that they were going to have a son. And so they tried to take matters in their own hand and they had, a baby, a son by the maidservant. And the Lord said, no, that's not the son I was talking about. And so because Sarah did not believe the Lord that she was going to get pregnant, so they went and took matters in their own hand. And the Lord said, no, that's not the son. Yeah, you had a son, but that's not him. That's Ishmael.
That's not who I was
talking about. And so then, of course, they had Isaac. You know the story. For those of you, because a lot of people don't know the story. So then they ended up, the Lord ended up blessing Sarah's womb, and they had Isaac. And so this is why. So we call Ishmael the counterfeit because he came before the son that was promised. But this is the thing about that story is because the Lord, when Abraham sent him on, him and his mama, the mistress or the maidservant, the Lord said, um, Ishmael is still going to be a great nation. So it's not that the counterfeit is a bad person. It's just not your person. We ain't talking about a counterfeit tonight. We're talking about a scammer, a catfish, and too many of y'all are getting scammed. And it might not go all the way to marriage, but a lot of people get all the way into marriages to find out that they married a scammer. And a lot of times they're getting married to these people who are in different countries. And so we're going to talk about this. But before we do, I also got to say this. This is why it's important that you be healed. So we did a video a couple of weeks ago to saying you don't necessarily have to be healed for your person to come.
Right.
But because nobody is perfect and we're still human. But this is the thing. When you're not healed, you're susceptible to one, attracting the wrong person where you end up trauma bonding, or you're attracting the wrong person, which they're going to end up preying, preying, on your vulnerabilities. And so what is happening in this situation is that these scammers can see your vulnerabilities, which you're not healed from, and they're taking advantage. They're coming in and they're taking advantage. All right, so let's jump in it because we're about to do some investigation. Before you meet a prospect, because at this, we're going to consider that all of these, anybody that comes into your life is a potential scammer because you don't know the person. You don't know the person. Don't fall for a big button spell. Just don't. You don't know the person. So we're going in investigating people. So the very first thing is you got to have discernment. Too many people don't have discernment. They're not using wisdom. They don't have discernment. If you meet somebody and they don't even really know you, or y'all might be talking on the phone for a week or a month, and you still don't really know this person, and this person asks for money, you should be able to identify that spirit. It's a devourer. It is a spirit of lack. Nobody should be coming into a potential relationship asking for money. When you go into a potential relationship, you're going in with the mindset to serve. And so if you're going in asking money, or a person is asking money for, that is a huge red flag. That right there says something's not right. So there's a difference between you meet somebody and they're living paycheck to paycheck. They might not have the best credit, but they're not asking you for money.
Right.
They're making ends meet. They might be working at McDonald's, whatever, but they're not coming in giving you a pity party and asking you for money. So somebody comes in and asks you for money, that is a sign. You should be able to have enough discernment to identify that spirit. And that's where a lot of men are scammed and a lot of women are scammed. These men come in and sometimes they don't directly ask. Man, I thought my paycheck got short this week. I thought I was going to have enough money to get, have gas for next week. And I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, okay. Well, okay, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just send you $20. That was a red flag. You should be able to identify that. That's what discernment tells you. Identify that spirit. The same thing with somebody coming in asking you for sex. You think it's cute. You think it's enough to just say, no, I don't do that on the first date, but you continue to talk to this person. No, identify that spirit. He has a spirit. She has a spirit of lust. Identify that spirit. That's what you got discernment for. Identify that spirit. See ya. You ain't the one. That's discernment and wisdom that a lot of people overlook.
Hold on. Look. Y'all been talking about you're tired of waiting. You've been talking about how your person ain't came yet. You've been talking about how what's going on? Why come? You need to take this seriously.
Yes.
And say, I need to learn. I need to start. I need to be. intentional about making sure not only am I paying attention to what this person's saying, I'm paying attention to everything they're doing. And I'm making sure at the end of the day, I'm putting dots. I'm drawing lines to these dots to make sure they add up. Because this is something you don't want to get wrong.
You don't.
It's one thing saying, I'm going to get to my person. It's another thing wasting 2-3 years because you've been scammed by somebody you should have recognized or called out on it 2-3 years ago.
So let me just put a plug in it right here before I go to number 2. So personally, when I meet people, if they're utility relationships where, I meet them at work or, I meet them, at a social event, or I meet them, wherever, and I know that, it's going to be kind of surface, I start everybody here, those groups of people. I start them here. And what you're starting at the top. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt because I have nothing to really lose. I'm going to continue to talk to you. We could be cordial. Everything is going. But if you start to cross me the wrong way, or I'm going to start to knock off some notches until I get to the point where I ain't just got to see you no more. You get to the bottom. I ain't got to talk to you. I ain't got to do nothing. But when it comes to a relationship that is of virtue, I'm starting you at the bottom and you've got to earn my trust. So those types of relationships, my husband, when we first met, he started at the bottom. And we talk about this all the time. No, he was not getting priority first because I didn't like I had the potential of putting my heartfelt desires in this person. You got to start here and you got to earn your way up. Also, those types of relationships also, like say if you're going to hire an assistant and they're going to be looking into your bank account and helping you manage your money, they're starting at the bottom. You got to earn my trust. I'm going to give you a little bit, if you're looking for a babysitter, you don't want everybody around your children. You're going to start down here and then you're going to earn my trust. And so what happens is when a lot of you all are looking for the one, you automatically put them up here. They got all your trust, all your attention, all your priority. No.
You meet somebody and day one, you change your whole life.
You change your whole life.
Worrying about what this person is doing tomorrow.
Right. Not to say that my utility relationships are getting all of this. What I'm saying is that my utility relationships, they're getting all of this while we're together, which is usually a little span of time. Maybe they're work relationships, or maybe I see them at church or social gathering, but they don't have a personal stake in my life. So they're up here. Now, again, if they cross me a certain way, I'm going to just start knocking off points until I ain't got to talk to you again. But when there are relationships of virtue where you're going to invest your life and you're going to put a life in their hands or your possessions, oh yeah, you got to earn my trust. That's just personal.
Yeah, you got to stop being nonchalant.
You got to be, and that's what being intentional is about. That's how I am intentional. I'm not putting no requirements on nobody else. This is how Jill is moving. All right, number 2, you have to observe fruit. We talk about this all the time. But if somebody is impatient and they are pressing you, I want to see you. That's a red flag. Yeah. If they're being super duper impatient, that's some spoiled, rotten fruit.
Whether it's man or
woman. If they don't have no self-control, and we always look at no self-control as he's pressing for sex or she's pressing. No, self-control means they don't have no type of discipline. They don't have no self-discipline in their lives. So when you meet somebody and they are like, they're going to the gym all the time, that's somebody you want to really like, okay, that's.
You might not be into that type of healthy lifestyle or hitting the gym every day, but you need to recognize the discipline that it takes for that person to keep themselves on track of what they're trying to accomplish.
Exactly. And when men meet a woman and say she could be, 300 pounds, but she says she works out every day, you might want to tune into that. because that's self-control. That's having self-control. That's discipline. But when you meet somebody and they don't have no type of self-control, they have no type of discipline, those are huge red flags. Look at their fruit. Look at their fruit. The other thing is look at their character. Now, I'm about to make some controversial remarks right here, and I really don't care because I'm going to tell you why I'm going to make these controversial remarks. So, men, you looking at these women, you got to make the plans for the dates. You got to make all the plans for the dates. I need a man that's going to make all the. It's not the fact that someone's preference, that her preference is that you make the plans. It is the spirit under it. It's the undercurrent that is driving that. That's character. That is a negative character. It is something in her you got to be intentional about me. You got to be intentional about me. It is not the fact that you're not going to be intentional about her, or that even she desires or prefers that you be intentional about her. It is the attitude that is driving those remarks. It is always that undercurrent, that attitude is that attitude. And so if she's that forceful and pushy and those are red flags.
Because she's going to be forceful and pushy
and everything. Everything. That says she's high maintenance. Everything.
Very high maintenance.
Very high maintenance. And so these are things that, and it's on men and women's side. Right. It's character. Look at character. Mm-hmm. Look at character. If he's a type of guy that have a lot of female friends, that's his character. And he's a socialite and he flirts all the time and he flirting and is quote unquote, he thinks is innocent flirt. That is his character. That is his character. Look at it and run. Mm-hmm. Look at it and run. That is his character. Did you want to say something? Because you was right.
I was just thinking, so many times we meet people and they're doing something. And then later on, you find out that same something is an issue. Like when you see somebody that is a dancer. And the guy, right. When they first meet, they're like, when they with their boys, they're like, oh, look at that. Then all of a sudden, they start to dating that woman. And then now it's like, you can't dance anymore. There's something wrong with dancing. It's like, I was dancing when you met me. You got to understand what you see in the beginning is who they really are. You need to pay attention to it. Stop letting them show you who they are and you don't believe it.
Which goes to my, I'm going to make this my number 4 is lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Look at their lifestyle. If their lifestyle is suspect, if they can't hold a job, if they say, I just been on my job for 1 year and you don't know, and they not mention, because if you listen, they'll tell you everything. If they don't mention a job, if they don't, who in it, what adult, unless you have a disability, what person, and unless you got a big old inheritance, who don't work these days? The Bible said a man that don't work don't eat. So if they say something like, yeah, I'm between jobs right now, that's a red flag. That means they are looking for a sugar mama. That is a red flag. If the woman says, yeah, I really, I go to school, I took a break though. She's one of those ones. She wants a man to take care of her. Those are red flags. Stop falling for them. You're not that pressed. You're not. It's a difference between having grace for someone in an area and somebody who is out to get you. That is out to scam you. They really don't like you. They need you. They need what you can give to them. These are scammers.
And look, and I don't want to step on you with your list, baby, but you got to learn to also trust your instincts. Sometimes you might not know exactly what it is. But your gut is saying something ain't adding up.
Something ain't right. And those instincts, anxiety, confusion, run. You get those signals for a reason. You have no peace about it. Run. You're confused. You wondering what's going on. Run.
Yeah.
God designed us this. Run. Something. Well, she said she was going to do this, and now she doing this. And she said she didn't have no money, but now she out, at happy hour with her friends, or she had brunch with her friends. But the clues be there. The red flags be there.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, technology these days will tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
Technology will tell you everything you need to know. And I'm about to say something that's got to be said. If you got small kids in your house, the very first thing you should be doing is look at that offenders list. And you know what offenders list I'm talking about. When you meet a prospect, look at that offenders list. That's the very first thing you should be doing. If you got it's too many people, too many women marrying men that they end up essaying their kids. Why? Why is this happening?
How is it getting to that point?
How is it getting to that point?
That is happening.
Social media, if they don't have a profile on some type of public social media, run. Who don't even have a profile up, whether they're active on it or not. I don't do social media like that.
Look, and don't just go on one profile or one platform. Search them on all of them, because
all of them.
They may not be. You want to make sure they're consistent.
You're talking about consistency.
You want to make sure that the same type of message that or presentation about themselves on Facebook is the same thing they got on Instagram, same thing they got on TikTok, same thing. It's sharing the same type of message. It ain't over here he's a player, over there he's an athlete, over here he's a professional person, over here he's a farmer. No, he needs to be the same person. He needs to be the same person. So does she. So should she.
So should she.
So look on all of them and see what they're saying about themselves and what they're putting on their pages.
Terrence said to me, he didn't say to me, he said to me, but he said it a lot on this channel. When the gap between, me reaching out to him in his DM and then him reaching back out to me in my DM 9 months later or 11 months later, he said he looked all through my Facebook because he wanted to see what I was saying about myself before he even took an investment, wasted his time. He took the time first without me even knowing, going through all of why did you go through my social media?
So I know what you said about you. If you don't trust you, why should I? If you don't believe in you, why should I?
And look, while he was doing that, what he didn't know is that a year prior, I had already went through his. I went through all of his. I went through all of his social media. Yeah. I looked at all of it.
And it's not cheating. It's fair game.
It's fair game. That's what you should be doing. You should be investigating. You call it, people say, oh, she's stalking him. Call it what you want. Call it whatever you want. But yeah, I want to, before I love the profile, what he said on the dating app, but I want to know if the profile is consistent with this person on social media. You daggone Skippy. I searched his name on Facebook, on social media, and bam, I found the same profile that was on the dating app was the same profile on his Facebook page.
Same pictures.
Same picture. And I looked all through it. I read everything. I read every comment that was under his post. I did. All through it. Look at that. I remember years ago, I was talking to this guy and we exchanged numbers and his number came up and it was a female name. We see that it was a female name. And come to find out, I mean, I should have ran in. I should have ran in. Come to find out, it was his ex-wife's name. Still in his, because clearly the phones were in her name. And he never changed it. If the area code is different from where he lives in that city, listen to see, did he relocate?
Mm-hmm.
If the area code is different than the city, you got to be on your Inspector Gadget.
There's too many ways now for people to get a phone number that has nothing to do with the state that they're in.
Too many.
You need to figure that one out.
You need to figure that out. Did he relocate? Like, start listening. And then talking about technology, go ahead and Google his name. Google his name. See what comes up. Go on LinkedIn and see if he got a career or her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to just leave it because as you said, it's a lot of men who's getting scammed by women,
mm-hmm.
getting catfished and scammed. Especially these days, you can't even tell a man from a woman as far as dress. There's a lot of men who get scammed by other men who look like women. You better do your research, and you ain't got to wait till you get intimate to learn who that person is. Mm-hmm. You better do your research and do it immediately. Oh, I'm Googling and all of that before I even say yes. That was one of the reasons why I loved online dating, because
it gave you a chance.
It gave me a chance. Yes.
To go through those checks and balances before you let them get too close or too much access to you.
Right. One of the things I liked about eHarmony is that, and I think it was another site as well, these reputable sites, I don't know how they are now, what these other sites do or whatever, but your credit card had to match your name, your how you set up your profile. It has to match. Your credentials has to match.
Yeah. And
so, I mean, these, you got to really do use technology.
Yeah.
Before you agree to go out on go to see this person. Don't invest nothing, time, feelings, nothing until you do some digging.
And if you haven't done the digging, the last thing you need to do is allow your emotions to get involved. And you still hadn't done any digging. Because now, not only are you committed, you don't even have the willpower in most cases, because you're emotionally committed, to stop yourself even once you find out something, because you've already gotten to a point to where you're emotionally committed.
Yep. And the last part, and you could do this simply by listening. Listen to his family dynamics or her family dynamics. Listen. One of the biggest scams, how you'll know if it's a scammer, they'll say, my parents are dead or deceased. Or they'll set it up where they're isolated, they're all alone. That is a huge red flag. They have no children. I never had any children. I was the only child and both of my parents are deceased. Scam. But also start to listen to the relationship they say they have with their children, or the relationship they have with their parents. Or because, they don't have to necessarily be a quote unquote professional scammer, but these are red flags of someone who, who's coming in and needs you and preying off of you. What's their relationship with their children? And you don't have to come out and say, well, what is your relationship with your children? Because that's corny. Just listen. Listen.
Look, you can even listen when you're amongst groups and how they interact with everybody.
How they interact.
And if you see somebody standing off, like they're there with the group, but they're not, you haven't seen that person, get around every individual. you might want to get off to the side and say, "What's up?"
Yeah, if they don't have the social skills, but even before you even get to that, but because if you're talking to somebody and they say, they have kids or whatever, and you go to their Facebook page and they got all kind of pictures on them, they outside, they at everybody's picnic and festival, and they ain't got no pictures of their kids. Well, really, how many do you really have? I mean, you could do all of this stuff. It be laid out. This stuff be laid out. You got to put 2 and 2 together, and 2 and 2 may not always add up to 4 for you, and you might be off. The point is that your ears are you listening. Listen to how they talk about their exes. If they talking about, oh, she ain't nothing. Oh, she ain't nothing. I shouldn't have never married her. Run!
And we said this in other videos.
Run!
When they're blaming other people for all their issues and all the things that's gone wrong in their life, and they're not accepting responsibility for what they've done and what they participated in, you need to check them, or you need to check yourself out and go home.
Yep.
It's one thing that going through some stuff, but you accepting your responsibility in the part that you played in. You accept
your responsibility.
But the fact that you're around somebody that's constantly blaming everybody else for their
He was a narcissist. He was a narcissist. He was controlling. Well, why did you attract a controlling person? He was a narcissist. Everything was, he was just a narcissist. Dude, that's a red flag. You about to be the next narcissist. Run. Run. Yeah. But there are too many, and that was all I had. Use your discernment, your wisdom, and your discernment. Observe fruit, examine character, scope out technology, use technology to your advantage. Look at their lifestyle, and listen to how they describe their family dynamics. This will tell you a lot.
And do this intentionally. And do it with a sense of urgency.
With urgency.
You don't want to waste 6 months of your life with somebody that you shouldn't have gave one day to.
It's too many stories, too many. This was supposed to be my 1-year anniversary, but I found out 6 months in that, my husband was a scammer. Or I found out 6 months in that he had a whole nother family.
And you know what? It's amazing that you just brought that up as an example, because I just heard strolling like a day or two ago, a woman said that she was in a relationship with a dude, and she found out sometime like 6 months, a year, something later, that he was already married to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's like, and again, my question is always how you get that deep in and not know. But scammers, look, some people are just good at what they do.
They're good at what they do, and they're in it to get what they can get. It's just like the whole Risa Tisa story. She married the scammer before she became a detective, an investigator. But she went hard into investigating. She would have really gotten, thank God he didn't get nothing like financially out of her other than, she moved him in. But he preyed on her vulnerability. And he got what he needed. He got a place to live. He got set up. He lied to her, constantly made up, fabricated all kinds of stuff. This is stuff that is common, that is happening day to day. These men and women are coming in and they're scamming. They're getting what they need, and you don't even see it, because you don't have your discernment on or your spiritual eyes. And let's be quiet. You're pressed. You're pressed for somebody.
And you're in your humanness.
You're very much in your humanness. You got to use discernment. You're talking about putting your life with somebody. Oh, you better know what you're getting into, because it's hard to get out of those types. And the other thing, ladies, I want to tell you, please understand who comes into your DMs. Those DMs got a lot of trolls. And we get too many emails. Yeah, this guy came into my DM and he told me how beautiful I am. And he told me this and he told me that. And he said, he has no, his parents are deceased. And those are people who are coming from another country. And there's so many people who are falling and are quote unquote in relationship with these people from another country. They ain't never seen these people. They sending money, or it's so common. These are scammers. They're coming into your DM and you're falling for it. Know the difference between a real person coming into your DM and a troll. There is a difference. Know the difference. When that person comes in, go immediately before you respond. And if you could kind of spot them, but if you can't spot them, before you reply, click on their profile. Go through their profile. Use your technology. Stop falling for the scams and being catfished. Please stop.
Look, you can go to their platform, pull up their profile while you're talking to them.
While you're talking.
And be learning about them while they're talking. You're checking facts.
There's this woman that I follow, very respectable. I'm not going to say her name because you will probably know who she is just because you probably are familiar with her children. And she told the story of how she was scammed. She met this guy from Africa and, they were going back and forth. They even saw each other, I think on FaceTime or whatever, through WhatsApp or whatever. And to her, they were in a relationship. She was just, because it takes a process for either one to go back and forth or to get to Africa or whatever. And so the plan was for her to go there, and she was planning it, or he was planning to come over, and they were counting down, and she was happy because she was in a relationship. To her, she ain't never seen this guy, ain't never seen him, but she was in a relationship with him. They were in a relationship. And so right before he was to come, or either it was right before she was to go over there, she gets a text from someone that or DM saying that the guy was in an accident. And so she was worried. She was so worried because that's her fiance, and how am I going to get over there now? Because, and I'm worried about my fiance. Of course, ended up being a scam, but it was her children who said, wait a minute, something ain't right. So her children became the investigators. And her children did the investigating because she was about to, and she didn't know where she was going. She was about to figure out how to get the money to go over and find her man and make sure her man was good because somebody said he was in an accident. It was part of the scam. Her children did the investigation, and they hated to tell her it's not true, that he was never. It was a scam. She was heartbroken. These scammers are so, they will be them and the wife will be in a relationship with you. They will be in the whole family, and you will not know it. He's getting money from you to take care of his family. It happens. The scammers, they come in all kinds of ways. They will move, the guy or the woman will move in with you. There was an issue not too long ago where the girl went in. It was an older man, and he was, quote unquote, seeing a younger woman, and he let her in, and she robbed him blind. Scammers. You're falling for scammers. Stop it. You're supposed to have the Holy Spirit. You should have discernment. Your discernment should kick it in at the initial conversation. But if it doesn't, start doing these other things. Look at technology. Google them. Look at their social media. If they ain't got social media, it's a red flag. Look at what they're saying about their lifestyle. Do they have a job? If they say they work somewhere, Google that job. Call a job if you have to. Do you have such and such who works there?
Look, when I was in sales, they taught us how to listen and let people tell you what to say to sell them what you're selling. So do you not think that a scammer who's trying to sell you on a story can listen to you, tell them how to scam you? And then they just do what you just told them about yourself.
Because so many people just want attention.
So many people are yearning for attention so much that they are trusting any and everybody naively to the point to where they've been taken advantage of. And you have got to stop and do what we call participate in your own rescue by preventing it in the first place. You got to go into this intentionally.
You got to go
learn about people. And here's the thing. And when you find out that somebody's a scammer, you ain't got to blast them everywhere. All you got to do is understand that ain't your person.
You ain't got to explain.
And leave.
And leave. You don't have to tell them. You don't have to expose them. None of that.
You don't have to add no drama to your life. All you have to do is know that person isn't the one for you and go to the next person.
Move on. Move on. But there's so many scammers out there.
Yeah.
They're praying. They're waiting to... let's just talk about these WITCHESs because they watch this too. These, they'll say we can't even get so far to him or her because there was a hedge of protection around them. We could feel the prayers in the spirit that was blocking us. A lot of you don't have your prayer life up, or you're not doing fasting to even discern or to hear things that says, okay, that's a demon right there. That's a spirit. But you don't even have a prayer life where you got a hedge of protection where a scammer can't even get to you. They can't even get to you. You don't have your prayer life up.
And we said that on videos almost a year ago, that sometimes when you find yourself alone or you're not attracting people, it ain't because you're not attractive, and it ain't because you're not attracting people. It's because God is keeping those away from you that he's done removed you from.
Yep.
He's protecting you. But instead of you acknowledging that and recognizing that God is doing something great in your life, you're taking it the wrong way. And you're actually trying to go against what he's setting up for you. He's protecting you, and you're trying to put yourself in harm's way. You got to get on the same sheet of music.
And you got to get some healing because you're drawing these types of people to you. You're drawing. So it's one thing if you're going through your healing journey and you got that, you and the Lord, like you got that hedge of protection. You got your prayer life. You're going through a human process. You're able to see, you're able to discern some things. But a lot of times when you're not healed, you're in a very vulnerable place. And a trauma bond is waiting to happen. And somebody who's coming to prey on your vulnerability to get what they need is waiting for you. So we hope this helps. Nobody should be getting scammed who watches this channel.
And if you run into somebody that's not talking and all they're doing is listening, be careful. Because it's one thing, me as a guy saying, well, I don't talk a lot. I'm kind of quiet. But it's another thing if I'm letting you do all the talking.
Yeah.
And I'm just listening. Because all I'm listening for is for you to tell me how to take advantage of you.
Yes. And you should be listening to him as well. The communication has to go. You got to use wisdom, and that's what the ebook talks about. You got to use wisdom and what to say, when to talk and when to listen. You got to use wisdom.
Yeah.
And don't come from me in the comments. Well, you always talk over your husband. You always talk over your. I know.
Put your comments in. Put your comments in. We want to know what your comments are. Because look, we've said this before, and I'm going to repeat it now. We're not playing on this channel. We say at the beginning of every video that we want to help increase God-ordained unions. We want to help increase God-ordained unions.
We ain't trying to invest in no divorces or no broken hearts.
So we are looking and we're praying that
P-R-A-Y.
what the Lord has given us to say is falling in good soil with the right people at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Are you one of those people?
Yes.
So with that being said, we thank you guys for checking out our video. We pray that this video, like the others, send you back to the Word of God or what it says about your personal situation.
Yes. Go get armored up.
And we look forward to seeing you guys in our next video.
Yeah. All right.
Peace.
Peace.